Hello and welcome back. It's been a while. I know I took some of the summer off, and I am so excited to jump back into the podcast and be with all you beautiful people every week. So, a lot's been happening and a lot's happened, and I'm sure the same is for you as well. And what I would love to focus on and talk about today is really fall reset. So looking at, where you're at today, my kids went back to school today. I feel a whole sense of space, of a reset. The air's changing a little bit here in Minnesota, so it is starting to become fall-like, and I'm loving all of it. Well, there is one thing. I almost feel a little bit out of element because, again, no imposter syndrome, and you really should not compare yourself to others. But I'm ready to do a happy dance. Whereas a lot of moms are crying and like, oh, I can't believe my baby's going into this grade or that grade. And there's a little bit of, not sadness, but just, wow, in tears. And I am overjoyed. Like when I dropped my oldest off at college, I didn't cry then either. I'm like just always so excited for them and, their biggest cheerleader. So I'm that mom that's like, happy dance. Kids are back in school. We're back to routine. Let's go. So looking forward to the reset and getting back at it. And with that said, I just got off an amazing coaching call. And it made me think and it made me decide that the best way to get right back at it is to hit it head on. And that's with you today. And I want you to really look at yourself and really look at where you're at in your personal development journey and ask yourself, am I a gatherer of all the information where you listen to this podcast, you listen to other podcasts, you read books, you watch YouTubes, you're doing all the things and you're gathering all the information? Are you taking action? One of my coaches, and I know I've shared this here before, one of my coaches said for every hour of content you absorb or you take time out of your day to attend or listen to, you should be taking 3 to 4 hours of action. So, what action are you taking, or are you just an information gatherer? Because what you need to decide to get from who you are today to where you want to be is what parts of you are you going to leave behind? Because you will need to leave about 50 to 80% of who you are today behind in order to get what it is you truly desire. Now, this is simple and it is not easy, especially in the beginning. And that is why 85 to 90% of people do not do this. They do not play up in that top 10 to 15% or even the elite of the top 1 to 3%. It's simple if you do it, and it's not easy to do, especially in the beginning, because you have to create a whole new awareness. You have to make a decision, an irrevocable, committed decision that this is what you're doing no matter what. And every day, wake up and set the intention that that is what you're going to do. And what happens as you listen to me, you listen to other podcasts, as you read books, you get really, really motivated. And motivation will only last so long. Your role in this process is to create the disciplines. And I can't do that for you. Any other coach or mentor can't do that for you. You do that for yourself. So, it is in gathering this information and listening to this podcast and listening to other podcasts, or again, read books, YouTubes, whatever it is that you can gather the information. This is creating an awareness. So now your awareness is expanding and you understand things differently. You're going to hear things differently because you're never the same. And you're going to get these inspirational moments where you're like, oh, yeah, I get it. So Your role is to set intentions. And with your intention, set tasks or goals or what you're going to do that's going to move your needle forward. And here's the kicker. What's going to happen is the inspirationally dissatisfied part of yourself, again, your spiritual being, your spiritual having a human experience, and your human being having a spiritual experience. The spiritual being in you, that side of you, is dissatisfied. It's never satisfied, nor should it be. We are here for expansion, not for contraction. So I ask you, what is your level of awareness? Because every single day you wake up, I can promise you, you're going to need to reset your intention, reset your commitment to your goal, and decide that this is your standard. This is where you're going. This is where you're going to live from today, and hold it, knowing that the current version of you, where all your paradigms are and where your habitual behavior is going to rationalize why you should be back down where you are today and stay here because it's not that bad. I have a roof over my head. I don't really need that car, house, vacation, relationship. I'm fine. You know, who am I to to want so much more? There are people starving over in this country and they don't have a home. At least I should be grateful for what I have. Well, again, always grateful, never satisfied. So it's becoming aware when you have that internal battle with your human self and your paradigms in your dissatisfied spiritual being, because the spiritual being inside of you knows that there's more for you. It knows that it wants to go here. And so the awareness, again, this is simple, not easy. And that is why most people start, stop, start, stop. They'll start it and then they'll stop it, or they'll be like, okay, today's the day. I'm going to be really aware, and they'll do it for a day, 2 or 3, and slowly those paradigms and the habitual behaviors will sneak back in. And all of a sudden you'll look up and you're like, oh my gosh, it's been days. Like, I totally forgot about my intention. I forgot to set my intention. I forgot to do gratitude. I forgot to make the irrevocable committed decision that this is who I am and this is where I'm coming from. And that's because it's simple, not easy. So you can decide. That's the beautiful part about it. You have the choice. Now, do you want to keep living from where you are today, the life you have today, and not going after your goal, or not letting your inspirationally dissatisfied self of you push you out of your comfort zone and get you from where you are to where you want to be? That's 85 to 90% of the population. They either understand it and don't do it, or they just don't understand this at all and they don't have the awareness. So I know you are getting aware because you're here and you're listening to this and you're listening to many other things that are leveling you up over and over and over again. And I ask you, what action are you taking? Or are you just gathering information? Really stop and think about that. Stop and think about what you can start doing today, even if it's just 1, 2, maybe 3 things. I wouldn't do more than that, of what you're going to start switching out or become hyper aware of. Knowing, again, we're human, you cannot rotate your head 360 degrees. We are human. So the human part of you is going to falter. Things are going to happen. Your role is to catch them and have the awareness of when that's happening. And sometimes it will be 2 days and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I wasn't doing it. So you catch it, reset, start at day 1. And then it will become a day. And then it will become 5 hours. And then it will become 3 hours, 1 hour, 2 minutes. The more you flex this muscle, the more you will become aware when you're out of alignment with your intentions. However, it is not easy. you do have to put the work in. And that is waking up every day, setting your attention, being aware. One of my coaches had me set an alarm on my phone for every 3 hours. You could even do it every hour and say, am I coming from my intention today? Am I coming and making my decisions as if the goal is done? Or am I letting who I am today, and am I going back and retreating into the comfort and not going towards the growth? Because you're expanding or you're contracting, you're growing or you're dying. This is all a choice. And so many people choose fear over the faith because they know at least what they're going to get. So I just love this. I love opening up and coming back all here with you all and just bringing this out into the open and really setting this up for the next, months of this podcast, because I think it's so very important that you take a real, true look and be honest with yourself. Maybe do a journal exercise around this. If you have some fear, and you're not quite sure, is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear of success? Is it fear of leaving relationships behind? Is it the fear of the unknown? Do a journal about it. Write fear on the top of a piece of paper and just write whatever comes up. Sometimes some of the stuff that comes up will move you to tears. You don't even know it's in there. Do the work. Do the work. It's a process. It's simple, not easy. And that's why most people do not do it, or they start, stop, start, stop. Don't be one of those people. It is not hard to be in the top 1 to 3% because most all people are not willing to do the work. You just have to make the decision that you're going to do it, and that's where you're going. And of course, I'm here to help in any way. Drop me a message if you want to talk more. I am also starting a book club this month. So my first book is Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life by no other than Bob Proctor, my first coach and mentor. This changed everything for me. You want a quantum leap? Read this, understand this, study this. So what I'm doing is every month I'm going to pick a new personal development book for women. It's a women's book club, and we will meet the last Friday of every month in the evening and go over the book. So if you are interested in that, send me a message below. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, I will find you, or you can email me, very simple, angiegerber@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you because I am looking to change women's lives one woman at a time. And this is a great way for us to also do it together, to collaborate, to grow, to level up, and to get from where we are to where we want to be as a community. So until next time, I'm so grateful you're here, and I cannot wait to continue this. Happy fall, happy reset. Let's go get our goals. Let me know what you need.